We're How We Survive, aiming to reshape disaster recovery in Australia and around the world through research, education, and advocacy.
Too often, well-intended organisations come and save and provide relief, and you need that. But then that quickly seeps into somehow stopping people from recovering in the way they want to. And How We Survive is about changing that narrative. It's about engaging people and policymakers, decision makers to get better at that, because we need to do it differently.
At the heart of our work is a simple idea, and that's people's experiences matter. So we've created an interactive map placing real stories of disaster recovery directly onto the map. These are real, unedited accounts, not just about the disaster itself, but more importantly, what comes after, the recovery. Today, the map includes over 1,300 stories, and it's continuously growing globally.
Big challenge around the world is engaging with more marginalised and vulnerable communities. Disasters don't affect people equally. They affect poorer, more vulnerable communities the worst. What we're trying to do with How We Survive on our map is to specifically find stories from more vulnerable communities. We're working especially with non-governmental organisations, community groups, others, to actually get those authentic voices and put those up.
Recently, we started connecting with global partnerships. So these include Seeds in India, University of Canterbury in New Zealand, and African Centre of Disaster Studies in South Africa. And so since then, we've been able to get an additional 400 stories. We've been able to understand what recovery looks like in these contexts. So it's been quite an incredible process to be able to engage with these global initiatives to understand what their experiences are and what their experiences of their communities are.
How We Survive is a modest initiative, but our ambition is really high. Thanks to our independent funding, we can speak, if you like, truth to power. We want to be critical, constructive friends, but to say it when it matters. Our shop front is the map. It's literally people's voices on the map. That's not a coincidence. Our use AI capability developed by our friends and colleagues, Map AI, so you can ask questions. What's it like in your area? What are the big issues and what are the challenges?
What we're trying to do is ensure that people's voices are heard. The fact that there's so many stories there, the hopes are that policymakers can see this and realise that all these small organisations across the country and also across the world, and how important they are, that this work that they're doing continues.
This project, How We Survive, is around changing that narrative. And we do live in a time now of more and more disasters. Climate change, fueled by us, is a fact. We will have a role to play. We need to get better at that. But the good news here is that a lot we can do. Disasters aren't natural. We create the vulnerability, they're not natural. That means we can do a lot about it. And that's where everybody has a role to play in this.